Welcome to the Travel Squad podcast, where adventure meets inspiration. We're your hosts. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Jamal. Together we explore international destinations, hike epic national parks, and share unforgettable travel experiences with you, one passport stamp at a time.
Our mission is to inspire you to travel by showing you how you can make it work no matter your budget, schedule, or experience level.
We bring you along so that you can laugh, get excited, and start planning your own trip.
So grab your ticket and your passport.
And don't forget your travel insurance.
And get ready to embark on a new adventure with us around the globe.
Hey Squaddies, Travel Squad Podcast is back with Just the Tip, a new Friday mini episode series where we give you quick travel stories, hacks, and recommendations to set you off into the weekend right.
Today is Jamal's 37th birthday. Happy birthday, Jamal.
Thank you. Happy birthday to me.
Jamal is our trip driver and our transportation planner of the podcast. And we often refer to him as Dad because he often pulls out that credit card and makes sure all of the girls are taken care of on the trip. So we thought we'd celebrate today and his special day by asking him a few questions from us as well as our squaddies. Are you ready for this, Jamal?
I'm ready. I'm super excited. You know, we've done several question episodes in the past where they're all surprise questions to each other. I'm excited to have them focused solely on me. Not that I just want the attention for myself, but I love these type of episodes when we just do questions. They're always fun and exciting.
Jamal, me and Brittany had a discussion of how many questions should we ask? And we said, we should probably limit it to just a few because Jamal's a talker and we got to keep him on a short leash here.
I'll keep it on a leash. I know this is a mini episode, so we keep it time appropriate for everybody.
So I'm going to kick off the questions, and I'm going to ask you, Jamal, what has been your favorite birthday trip that we've taken?
Oh, gosh, that's a really great question. There have been so many, and I know the running inside joke is I don't want to do birthday trips, which is kind of true, but also kind of not true in that regard. But I will have to say my favorite that we've done, only because it was a lifelong goal of mine to make it to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, because I am a roller coaster fan. I'm going to have to say Cedar Point.
I knew you were going to say that, Jamal, probably because that's the only birthday trip you actually had a say in where you were going.
Oh, right. And that's kind of why there's the inside joke about me not really wanting to go on them. I always appreciate a trip, but sometimes I just want to relax. But Brittany will take the initiative to plan the trip, and they are always great, but really kind of without my input. But the year 2022, I told Brittany, I said, if we're going to do a trip, we're going to go to Cedar Point. I love roller coasters. I want to ride them. They have some of the biggest and the best in the world over there, tons of record breakers. And I threw Brittany a bone, even on my birthday, being as generous as I am, because we were in Ohio and we made our way to a national park just as well. So, I mean, that was fun. That was fine. But Cedar Point was the highlight.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
This podcast brought to you by Ring. With Ring cameras, you can check on your pets from anywhere, right from your phone. That means it's easy to catch them in the act.
Izzy, put that down.
Keep them company.
Aw, I'll be home soon.
And show them some love.
Such a good girl.
Make sure they're okay while you're away with Ring. Learn more at ring.com/pets. That's ring.com/pets.
All right, next hard-hitting question, Jamal. Why do you think old ladies love you so much?
I think Jamal just has charisma. You know what I mean? You see me talking in the third person right there. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know what it is. The old ladies dig me. I know Brittany's sitting next to me. We're married. I'm not really going to do anything, but I'm trying to lower that demographic from older ladies, the boomers, to the cougars. That's really where I want to go right now, to have them just really give Jamal a little bit of love, a little confidence
We talked
boost.
about this We've talked about this in some episodes, but every time we go on a trip, me and Brittany are standing around, we turn back and Jamal is just talking to a group of old ladies, taking their picture, like long discussions too. No matter where we go, the old ladies flock to you.
I don't know how or why it happens, but honestly, this always happened to me when I was a waiter at Denny's. That was my first job ever. Of course, lots of elder people come into Denny's, and I don't know, I just have a knack for it. And I think that persona that I had to have, of course, being a waiter and just talking to people, it's really carried over into other aspects of life. So that's why on those trips, you always see me just chit-chatting with the old birds, you know?
I know, Kim, you weren't on our South Africa trip, but we went somewhere in South Africa and this lady wanted to go over like a ledge and she needed help up. I look back and Jamal's like lending his hand, helping her over, telling her age is just a number. You got this. Really encouraging her. She was like 70 years old. And I'm just like, oh my God, I looked away for like 1 second and here he is like picking this lady up and helping her over.
Well, I saw her. I knew she wanted to kind of go over the fence or barrier to get to the ledge. Of course, it wasn't going to be like super dangerous to go over because there was still tons of space, but she was concerned about it and unsure. And, you know, sometimes you just need to give people encouragement. That situation just happened to be an elder lady. I would have done it to anybody, but just was an older lady on that one.
So another question for you, Jamal. This one comes in from a squatty. This comes in from Matt, who was a guest on our podcast before and is the host of Making Moves by Matt. He asks, what is your favorite country?
Oh, my favorite country. That is a great question. As a whole, I'm going to have to say Japan. I feel like I've said that a million times on this podcast, or if I haven't, it feels like it because I always hype up Japan, right? Japan, generally as a whole, food, culture, cleanliness, loved it. If I'm really going to go straight nature aspect, though, of the maybe favorite destination or vacation we've ever been on, it's going to be Uganda. So those ones are really a toss-up for me, but as a whole, Japan.
Both good countries. Here's a different one for you, Jamal. What is one thing you wish you knew about podcasting before you started?
That's a really good question. One thing I wish I knew before we started. I don't know,
It could be about your impact on other people or behind the scenes work or opportunities or anything else. Maybe like you really absolutely love your co-host more than you ever thought you would.
Well, I love all my co-hosts as much as I can, so that's not really going to be it. But I don't know. I really wish I knew more about the impact our podcast would have on people, because when we get those messages from people and squatties telling us like, oh, you really helped us out with this is great advice, and we have lots of squatties who message us all the time and who are kind of really like our regulars and we're always in communication and chatting with. I wish I kind of knew that, because from the get-go, I don't want to say we weren't all motivated, but I think if we knew we were going to get that kind of feedback, all of us, more particularly me, would be really motivated to put out like an excellent product for everybody. And I feel like we do put out a great podcast for you guys, but I wish I knew that ahead of time. That way I had a little bit more oomph at the start for everybody.
Yeah, in the beginning, you're kind of talking into the void. And then at a certain point, it starts talking back. And that's pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
So this is a hard-hitting question from our squatties, Jamal. Lauren from Japan, she wrote in and asked, what is your most justified freak out?
My most justified freak out. Wow. Well, you know what? I am going to go ahead and say the monkey scratching me in Morocco was my most justified.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to say it. You want to know why? Again, for anyone who hasn't heard this story, a street performing monkey in Morocco scratched me because his handler was trying to chase me, trying to get out a tip, and the monkey just gave me a scratch. We're with Brittany, nurse, of course, our friend Kasha. She's also a nurse. They all kind of were like, oh, it's not really like a big deal. I'm like, this is a street performing monkey. Who knows what like bacteria or virus is sitting under his fingernails, and it's just any wild animal. It's not that it's a wild animal in Morocco, right? And, primate to primate, you can catch diseases. Let's not kid ourselves. And everybody who I tell the story to that I got scratched by the monkey, they will look at me and be like, oh my God, like they are really worried for me. And I'm like, thank you. I feel like you should be worried. And then the nurses are like, no big deal, no big deal. But everybody.
But how big was the scratch, really?
It like barely broke any skin at all. Maybe like 2 flakes of skin. And he was freaking out. It was not a justified.
It was a scratch. It scabbed over. and it was red around, and my skin started to get warm in the area.
No, it did
My
not.
skin just started to get warm in the area. Anyway, everybody else other than Brittany and Cash are like, oh yeah, like I wouldn't want to be scratched. I'd be concerned too. So I would say that is my most justified freak out. And I really love that question. Coming in from Japan too, even better.
That's not what I would have thought. I thought you would have said Berchtesgaden.
Oh, Berchtesgaden. Well, that is also a justified one. You know, I was trying to make a great trip for our friends who this was really their first big international. Things were just going wrong that day. That was justified, but, you know, safety first, and that monkey could have caused some serious damage. Has nobody seen the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman? It's about a monkey. That things go crazy once it starts infecting people.
What about the freak out about the blowfish in Japan? Was that one justified?
Well, that was like an internal panic attack. Yeah, when I ate the fugu out there, I really thought the toxins were kicking in on me and I was going to go into paralysis and asphyxiate. I got in my head a little
He
bit.
wouldn't
Was it
even let anyone talk to him. He was like, don't talk to me.
I don't know.
I can't talk to anyone right.
I don't know if it was justified, but at the same time, I don't think it was. I mean, it was overblown, but at the same time, really worried.
That one was actually probably one of my favorite freakouts to watch because it's like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't like calm him down. I couldn't, if I tried to hype him up a little bit, he would like freak out even more. So like just watching that play out was probably one of my favorite freakouts to watch out because it was so unjustified and it was more of a panic attack, which is kind of mean to say. But anyways, it was a good laugh.
I have some good freakouts from time to time, but yeah.
And we love you for it, Jamal.
That's what makes me me. What can you say?
On that point, Jamal, what do you think makes a good travel companion? Whether it's a friend or your partner.
I would say what makes a really good travel companion is going with somebody who's going to reciprocate on the things that you want to do. Because when you travel with anybody, whether it be me and Brittany, or even when we're traveling as a squad or with other friends, yeah, you know what trip you're going on because you're all going on that trip together. But there are things that each person may want to do that the other doesn't, but it's everybody's trip, so there's got to be give and take, and you just really need to understand that you have to reciprocate in kind and they have to reciprocate in kind to you to make sure that everybody can do what they want to do, even if it's something that you don't necessarily really want to. But that's what makes a good travel partner. That's with anything in life or any friendship, just give and take.
It sounds a little more like they're bringing a little bit of energy to it. They don't just do it because you want to do it, but they get excitement about it because it is something you want to do. That does make it more fun, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
This is another question sent in from a squatty. It's from Trent from North Dakota, and he wants to know, Jamal, how do you afford to travel so much?
Really great question. Well, fortunately, Brittany and I make traveling a priority, so travel budgeting is part of our everyday life budget. So a lot of times, you know, we live here in San Diego, and a lot of people will say to us, like, why don't you guys go out and do anything? You live in San Diego. And I guess it's not really that we're not doing stuff and being cheap while we're here, but we really fund all of that towards when we go to travel. Like, we rarely eat out here in San Diego, although there's great restaurants. So I really get to explore a lot of San Diego when family and friends come into town. Otherwise, we're homebodies. And I would say it's just really budgeting for those trips and making it an everyday priority to say, yes, this much from this paycheck, whether it be mine or Brittany's, is funded towards travel. And a lot of times there's travel hacking. I tell this to people all the time too. You know, we really hack with the credit cards. We've mentioned Southwest and Companion Pass. They'll usually have those promos going on every once in a while. If you do a certain minimum spend, then you get Companion Pass, which is the second person for a year flies free, only the taxes. So that really gets us a lot of domestic travel. So there's a combination of things, and I'll say that's what makes us able to travel as much as we do.
Good points. Save and plan for it and maximize free travel. Love it. On that note, Jamal, has Brittany ever booked a trip without getting your approval on it first?
She has. She used to be very notorious. She used to be very, very notorious for this. And as I've gotten older, I don't want to say I don't want to travel as much, but you know, just with everyday life, work, personal things that we need to do at home, you know, sometimes I just want a little free time. I feel like that's sometimes an ongoing theme in the podcast too that I will bring up. But Brittany has gotten better about not just booking something without running it by me. And if I don't really want to do it, she'll just keep pushing me the next day, the next day, the next day. But what she will do if she really wants to book something without telling me is she'll make sure it's, you know, refundable. And she'll just book it and say, hey, I booked this, but it's refundable. So are we going to go or not? And sometimes, more particularly if it's a Southwest cheap flight, she'll do that because we'll maybe have Southwest flight credits. Or the beautiful thing about Southwest is if you book and pay cash and then cancel, unfortunately, you don't get your money back. But what's great about them is they put it in your travel bank so you don't really lose it. We're going to be flying anyway. So those are the type of things that she still does if she wants to push me just a little bit and book without running it by me.
Also, if he's like doing something with his friends and, he's like out with a guy drinking and I know he's had a few drinks in him or something like that, that's a great time to text him saying like, hey, what do you think about this trip? I'm looking at flights right now. Like guard's kind of down. So he'll be like, all right, just go ahead and book it.
Well, I don't know if it's the guard down from the drinking. It's that you gave me a leash. I'll give you a little bit of a leash on that one. And as a matter of fact, what she's probably referring to is the fact that I said yes for a trip that we have coming up to Wisconsin in a couple days here at the end of the month. She hit me with that when I was out and about with my friend Josh in Mexico. So she knew when to send that text in, and I just said go for it and book it.
Jamal, when you get a few drinks in you turn into a yes man. You have a huge smile on your face. You are down for anything. You're just having so much fun. So that's a really good hack, Brittany, for getting the trips you want.
Yeah, ladies, if you're listening, try this one out. It's worked for me so far. Well, Jamal, I have one last question for you.
I'm ready for it.
It is, what is your ideal way to spend your birthday?
I've told you a million times, Brittany, my ideal way to spend my birthday is sitting home and relaxing.
No, that's not the right answer.
No, I just would say, well, honestly, though, as I get older, birthdays are kind of depressing because you're getting older, right? I mean, yes, you still want people to tell you happy birthday and feel special, and I still want that. Let's not kid ourselves. I think everybody does. But I would say the ideal way to spend my birthday is a trip, but maybe a trip that doesn't require so much go, that I can actually really relax. And not that I don't have fun on all of the trips that we take, but you know this if you're a traveler, right? There's some trips where you're go, and you have a great time. And then there's some trips where you're just relaxing and enjoying yourself, enjoying the ambiance, atmosphere of wherever you're at. And as I'm getting older, that is what my ideal birthday trip is now, just a relaxing birthday somewhere else.
Well, that's beautiful, Jamal. And my birthday wish for you is that one day you'll get that.
I'll get it sooner or later. I know. We just got to both keep pushing Brittany a little bit. Or when we go on our squad trips, we really have to cater it around being a trip that's like that so Brittany can see that type of lifestyle and travel style.
Well, I think you're going to get that in your upcoming birthday trip this weekend because we will be in Wisconsin, Door County, small area on the lake, kind of go as we flow, relaxing. I think we'll get that on this vacation.
I'm really excited about it. That's half the reason why I said yes when you texted me saying, let's go to Wisconsin.
And if it doesn't work out, Jamal, you can always try the reverse on her.
Yeah, I can. But the problem is her birthday is in October, and that is a busy month for me for work. So I really can't take over her birthday trips because we're not really traveling around that time. But sooner or later, I will book one.
No, I mean, try the reverse on her. Get a few drinks in her and then plan a trip and get her to give you the thumbs up on just laying by the beach and relaxing.
Oh, yes. Well, that is a very good idea. Although, I don't want to say I get too wild when I drink. I really loved the description you gave of me. Yes, go with the flow. I like to think that I'm fun. Brittany, when she drinks, she does have fun, but she still keeps her wits about her and her guard up. So I'm going to have to try really hard to be really sneaky on that technique, but I think it can work on her, Kim.
We'll hold out for that.
Yes.
And with that, thanks so much for tuning in to Just the Tip.
Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on all the socials at Travel Squad Podcast.
And have fun traveling this weekend. Bye, Squaddies.
Bye.